Hey, Tom.
What's going on, Tom? Hey, Mr. Butler. Matt, what's going on?
Of course. I appreciate it, Tom. I know. Hey, Miss Peavy.
These people, I'm trying to get through this with my voice is hoarse.
Thank God.
But I'm gonna try to see if I can make it through this because I'm gonna take one for the team.
Coach, just remember, I got the mute button.
It don't matter. Everybody saw the game. We already know who won. I mean, that mute button ain't gonna change who won the game.
You're right.
So see you in 34 more years. However long it's been. I don't know what happened to Kerry.
I'm going to go ahead and hit our video.
Yeah, we need to go ahead, I guess. We thought the fix was in. Torch was being passed to bro.
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and Jay, they coming through. Straight no chaser.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we're done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey y'all, let's get it poppin'.
Hey, welcome to Straight from the Hip. I'm your host, Coach Gerald Boo Mitchell, coming to you live from Imperial Palace on Black Mania. I came up here to watch the Super Bowl. We're up here having a good time, still celebrating the Super Bowl up here. We actually started Black Mania celebrating a week before the Super Bowl because we knew who was going to win. So we went on here and started celebrating early. Miss Peavy in the building, Tom, Matt, Mr. Butler in the building, of course. As always, Tom, I do have a little kicker in here. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's the remedy to get rid of a hoarse throat from yelling and screaming all the time. So I try to always have a little hot tea with a little kicker in it. Travis on the ones and twos. Well, Travis was supposed to be on the ones and twos tonight. We supposed to have not a full house, but I know Miss Carey was supposed to be. I'm a little worried about her because she normally, when she says she's going to be on here, she's going to be on here.
Yep.
I tried to dress like Travis. That's why I wore my black shirt today. I figured he'd be wearing his. I didn't know he's going to have all that dirt on the front of his shirt.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, that's why, I just wore my all black shirt. Travis, how's everything? How you doing, Travis?
I'm doing okay.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yep, pretty good.
We're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but everybody knows Super Bowl happened. We'll talk. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say if it was one way or the other. I'm gonna let y'all give me some feedback about the Super Bowl. I wrote down some questions here, and I pass it on to the crew before the show, and say, here's some things I think we could talk about for the show today. We're gonna get y'all's thoughts and y'all's feedback on it. I don't know why my scroller ain't where. Oh, there it is, right there. Here we go. First of all, Travis.
Yes.
Well, obviously it didn't, but did the Super Bowl go as you thought it would, and why? Why not? Why do you think it did not go the way you thought it would?
To answer the first question, did it go the way I thought it would? No. Of course, as everyone can see and everyone knows, I'm a Bengals fan. We came up just a little short. Why do I think that happened? I think there were a number of things. First and foremost, I think the Rams are a better team, just player for player as an entire team. I think they're a better team than the Bengals. If you would have asked me that last week, I would have said the same thing, right? The better team doesn't always win, right? We know that. But I think player for player, the Rams were the better team. Secondly, I think our biggest problem that we had as a team, I don't know if this is a question you're going to ask later. Are you going to ask who's to blame?
No. Okay. I mean, go ahead. Go shoot your shot.
There were a lot of things that happened. Again, I'm talking as a Bengals fan, okay? So when I'm going to talk mainly Bengals, there was a lot of things that happened for the Bengals that there were certain positions that didn't play as expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put blame on any one player because there wasn't one player. It didn't come down to the blame on the head coach. Right? I've seen that written before. Oh, it's all the head coach's fault. That's not true. Okay. I do think the one position, looking back on it, that I was not depressed, but was a little bummed about how they played was our pass rush, our defensive line. Our rush defense was fantastic. We held them to under 40 yards rushing. Pass rush, we couldn't get to Matt Stafford at all game long. He had all day to sit back and find people and find wide receivers, things like that, tight ends, whatever. Find Cooper Kupp. We need.
But how many passing yards did they have, Travis?
They had.
It wasn't that many, I believe. I mean, he wasn't MVP, so I guarantee it wasn't that many.
283 passing yards. 283.
283, but also had 2 interceptions.
Right? Yep.
I mean, I thought he was very pedestrian. That's just me. I thought Matthew Stafford stunk it up.
I thought Matthew Stafford did not have a good game until the last 6 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever their final drive.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that the amount of pressure that we did not generate, we only got 2 sacks all game. I would have thought we could have gotten 3 or 4. And I think
Travis, a lot of the game too. They were playing they were playing in that umbrella coverage.
I know,
like they did last week, and only rushing 3, maybe 4. I mean, they weren't really trying to even, by design, put a lot of pressure on by blitzing. Bringing some corners off the edge. Doing some things to kind of disrupt. The offensive line. They were making it very easy. And especially when Cam Akers wasn't going out for passing much, he was staying in and blocking too. So you basically got 6 guys on 4. And I mean, so it's kind of difficult to get pass rush on them under those circumstances because, you're keeping everybody back to keep them from making those big plays.
No, I get what you're saying, but my point of Matt Stafford is the type of quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of mobility. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you give him time to sit back and scan the field, he's going to find the open wide receiver. But if you can get him moving, if you can get him under pressure, he doesn't throw the best balls. He rushes some things, and there wasn't a lot. We had 2 sacks all game. There weren't a lot of pressures that the defensive line, got to Matt Stafford. So
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with your analysis. I have a problem with your end game because you say you don't want to blame that on the head coach. Who the hell should you blame that on? I mean, that is the head coach because he's keeping you from blitzing. He's got 4 guys going up against 6. I mean, he's got to figure out a way to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Well, that defensive coordinator then.
I mean, whatever. Defense, but I mean, I would disagree with you on this because I've been a head coach. I tell people all the time, anything that happens on this field that shouldn't happen is my fault. You know why? Because I picked these damn head coaches and everything. So the bottom line is that I go to the head coach and say, hey, get Johnny out of there and put Tommy's ass in there. I mean, the bottom line is that I'm the person who's behind the scene making all those calls. So therefore, I go to the defensive coordinator and say, hey, put some damn pressure on the quarterback. Let me see something other than the shit I'm seeing out there. Bring me a corner off the edge. Bring me a linebacker up the middle. Give me some stunts. Give me something than those 4 guys being blocked by 6. I'm tired of watching that. I mean, that's the conversation you have with your defensive coordinator, especially like you said last week. All we got to do is get to the halftime because our coaches make good adjustments in the second half. And that's not what I saw. I didn't see that. So I'm okay with your analysis. But by saying that the head coach isn't to blame, the hell he ain't. I mean, the bottom line is they bring him the stats at halftime, offense and defense. And he looks at those stats, and his ass made some decision. Then he calls the coordinator and says, hey, y'all 2 come over here with me. First of all, offense, stop trying to throw the damn ball and run it. I mean, I'm looking at the damn stats. I know what to do. On defense, put some damn pressure on the damn quarterback. I mean, that's his job. That's the head coach's job. That way, after the game, you don't go up there and say, well, I wish our defensive coordinator had, he don't say that. He said, well, looking back, we probably should have put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback because that is the coach's call, the head coach's call. So
and he came out, I'm sure you saw he did come out and he said, this loss was on me. Like he owned it as the head coach. He didn't put anybody, he didn't put the refs under the bus. He didn't put anybody under the bus.
Well, I didn't see it, but I don't watch all that after.
This loss was on me, and Joe Burrow said the same thing. Joe Burrow actually he said, I don't care what the head coach said. This loss was on me. Joe Burrow took blame for that. And to be honest, Joe Burrow did not have the greatest game. He wasn't terrible by any means, but he missed 1 or 2 throws. Absolutely, he did, and he's not getting no a pass. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not getting a pass because he didn't play particularly well, but he wasn't terrible. He was good enough for the most part to win the game. I don't, like I said at the beginning, it doesn't come to this was an entire team effort. This isn't coming down to one group or one player or one coach of why we lost the game. The Rams had one or two at better plays than the Bengals did, and they executed. And they had Aaron Donald, and we didn't.
Okay. Well, we kind of already answered. Well, somewhat. I'm gonna answer it a little bit better here. When I say what players did not play as you expected them to play. I mean, first one that comes to mind to me is Odell Beckham. It's not that he played bad; he got hurt, and I mean, nobody thought that was going to happen. So like I said, I think that it is a different game when you have Odell Beckham in there for more than a quarter and a half, and he's on Eli Apple or whoever is trying to guard him and running them up there. I think that made a very big difference for me.
And Beckham, we know he was only in there for a quarter and a half or something like that. He had 2 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. So he was on his way to having a really good game, and that definitely hurt the Rams, especially in the second and the third quarter. I think that's what really helped the Bengals because we were forcing them to throw to people like Schoenbacher and some other guy that we've never heard of, right?
Ray, you just asked the question, and Travis and I were just talking about that. I put that on the head coach that they didn't blitz Stafford, especially after OBJ got hurt. You know, like I said, I think that's a coaching decision. That's not a defensive coordinator decision. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, the head coach has to step in and have some ownership in that. So we talked about that before you got here.
Coach, real quick, just to two more seconds on that. Our head coach is an offensive-minded coach. I know technically everything falls under the head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said. At the end of the day, the buck stops at the head coach. I get that. But if you're an offensive-minded head coach, wouldn't you normally kind of defer to your defensive coordinator when it comes to defensive play calling because that's not your specialty, right? You're more worried about the offense, and you would say, okay, defensive coordinator X, whoever you are, you know, you're going to run your defense, and I'm going to try not step on your toes because that's what your specialty is. Because I'm an offensive guy, you're a defensive guy.
Yeah, I disagree. Like I said, that's why the head coach is making, $10 million a year, and the assistants are making $1 million a year, if that or whatever, because you're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be that guy who knows enough about both. Because the bottom line is that some of the best secondary coaches are former wide receivers. Right. Because I can tell people in the secondary, this is what really messes a wide receiver up when you line up like this. He hates it when you line up like this because you're kind of in no man land in a defense that we call catch, where you wait to him to come off the ball, and then after that you play him and run with him, and you're playing and bump and run, but you're doing it from about five yards off the ball. So the bottom line is that, like I said, as a wide receiver coach, so if I am an offensive genius or whatever, I can look at the offense they're running and I can say, you know what, we need to do this. I know what they're trying to do over there. So what we're going to do over here is this on defense. And then I give that to my defensive coordinator to make it happen. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you have to know offense and defense. You're not yielding anything to anybody because at the end of the day, guess whose wins and losses record that's going to go under? You, the head coach. Then I go say, oh, well, your defensive coordinator, you got the win-loss record or whatever. Those wins and losses for that team are going to follow you for the rest of your life. So if you 0-16 because your defensive coordinator sucks, that's going to be your 0-16. That ain't going to be his. His ass going to go off and be a head coach one day somewhere else. He going to start off at 0-0. Ain't nobody going to say, oh, well, yeah, you were 0-16. Nope, that wasn't me. That was him. So since you have ownership of that, you don't have any problem saying, listen, You go out there and I want to go balls to the wall blitzes on these plays or whatever. But we're gonna do something different than what we're doing now. And if you can't do that, you can't be a head coach.
Okay.
And you don't take any lip about it either. The bottom line is, if I'm telling you what I want, and you better give me what I want, or you need to get the hell out of here. I mean, it's just that simple. So he should have stepped in and said, if he felt that way. I'm not sure he felt that way or not.
I don't know.
Either way, they didn't do it. So you have to believe he was okay with it because he didn't say, hey, let's do something different. So, that's the way that works. And again, like I said, I'm an offensive-minded guy too. But I can tell you right now, it's been many times I've gone to Fronte Fountain, who's my secondary coach, even in 7-on-7. I'm like, hey, sit back and play zone right here. I know it. I got a feeling what they're going to try to do. And if we go in zone, and sometimes I guess right and sometimes I guess wrong, but guess what? It's going to be my L or my W. So therefore, we're going to do it my way. So anyway, that's one person. I thought Matt Stafford was going to play better than what he did. That interception before halftime was the dumbest Jimmy G play I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, that absolutely sickened me that he threw that ball short like that after he pointed for the guy to go deep. And now when you point for him to go deep, you throw that ball to the back of the end zone where him and only him can catch it. Like with his feet barely inside the line, leaning over the line to catch it is the way you throw that ball.
Yep.
And he didn't do that. The second interception, that went off the receiver's hands and all that's a part of the game that I don't like for quarterbacks and I don't think is fair. I tell my receivers all the time, when that ball touches both your hands, the quarterback's done his job. Right. I don't care if you're diving for the ball, whatever. When that ball touches both your hands, you need to catch the ball. And so like I said, that ball touched both that guy's hands and he swung it out and basically threw it to the next guy. And that was unfortunate, but it is what it is. So Matt Stafford didn't play as well as I thought he would play.
I agree. I thought he was very mediocre until the last drive. I thought if we would have won the game, I think Matt Stafford would have been who was the guy that didn't perform and is the blame for the Rams. It would have been Matt Stafford. Yeah, I'm gonna give that to him, but there was a lot more to go around. I mean, the offensive line to me was terrible. I mean, the offensive line was terrible for them. I don't think they played well at all for the Rams. They were awful. Pass protecting, they were okay. Again, they only gave up 2 sacks. He had a decent amount of time. They're trying to run the ball was terrible. They could. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. 1 yard if they had to. Yeah, but some of that is you're doing the right thing. You're just not executing. I mean, the game plan is good. It's sound because they're falling back just like you're falling back. Right. And, being in coverage and all that. But you have to execute the running game. And their offensive line was not even close to executing any kind of run game. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, I mean, that was ridiculous. Who is most responsible for the outcome of the game? Who do you think is most responsible? Plus or minus? I mean, either who is most responsible on the good side or who's most responsible on the bad side? I'm going to give you a few names. I'm going to give you a name, and then I know you're gonna start yelling at me when I say it. But first of all, Aaron Donald was amazing, especially that last drive. He was unblockable, and there's a reason why he's one of the top 2 or 3 best players in the league. Period. Not in position. Period. End of story. I thought he should have won MVP. Okay. Man, there were some rotten calls by the referees. I agree. Hold on. Just on both the Bengals and the Rams, they missed calls. So why are we talking about it? I mean, like you said, same referees, missed calls on both sides. You need to be officiating consistently and not be picking and choosing. I'd rather have you call everything than nothing at all and then all of a sudden call something at the end of the game. Okay, but I mean, that's what you'd rather have. I'd rather have them call everything right every time. But guess what? That ain't going to happen either. So, I mean, the bottom line is that to me, the referees are a wash. Because when you see somebody get face masks and heads spun around
and then they show it on the Jumbotron and everything. If I'm that official, I'm like, that's messed up right there. I mean, god dang. Let's call a timeout and see if we can damn change that, because that's going to haunt us for the rest of our life. That was the worst call ever. I've never seen something so egregious like that where his damn head spun around. I'm surprised he didn't damn have a hurt neck after that. And I mean, the receiver, you know, he just, it's natural. I'm not saying he tried to hurt the guy or anything like that.
Right.
For it to be that blatant and all them referees aren't out there watching the balls in the air. Why is everybody's eyes not turning, watching those guys? Because that's when it happened. And nobody sees that to throw a flag. That was horrible.
My two things on that one play. Actually, three. One, was it face mask? Absolutely, yes. I'm not going to argue like that. There's no arguing that point. Yes, it's face mask. Two, while the play was going on, and the ball's up in the air, T. Higgins catches the ball, runs for the touchdown. Live in game. This is me personally. Everyone else can put what they want in the chat. I did not see in-game live at that moment a foul. I did not see the face mask live, right?
Okay.
The replay, obviously, when there's a replay, yes. My only thing that I can think of is because it was such a long pass, the referee's probably running up the sideline. He probably wasn't in the best position because T. Higgins and Jalen Ramsey are, let's face it, are better athletes than whoever the referee is, and he might not have been 40 or 50 yards down the field to be there to see the face mask. That's the only thing I can say. Was it a face mask? Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that point because it was.
Well, Travis, I mean, I hear what you're saying. It was a missed call. So, I mean, that's what you just said. You started this whole thing off by saying there were missed calls on both sides. Okay. So that call, that right there cost us the touchdown. I mean, obviously, after he caught the ball, he ran into the end zone for a touchdown. That was a missed call that cost us for sure a touchdown. Cost us 7 points. You talking about the holding of the call? That didn't cost you any points. What did that cost you? There wasn't no. I mean, did it cost you 3?
The third and goal.
I know, but wait a minute. We're talking about that play that play right there. Because 3rd and goal, they still could have gone 4th and goal and gone for it, might have scored. They might have kicked the field goal. We got maybes, this, that, the other. We know for a fact what yours cost. It cost a damn touchdown. Because, like I said, the bottom line, they didn't call that foul, and so that guy goes into the end zone and scores. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about. But in your case, we don't know what it might have cost you or did cost or whatever. Because the bottom line is that it was only 3rd down anyway. I mean, they could have, who knows what could have happened. So my whole thing is that I'm not, that's why I hate even talking about the officials, because there are so many other things that happen in that game. And we're going to get to that here in a few minutes, that I don't see how you can be blaming anything on the referees, because I could see if, you didn't have some of those things happen and we did have some things happen, or vice versa. But when I see as many bad calls on one side as on the other, and, they were saying all game, well, this crew, they like to let them play. They like to let them play. And football players like that. Football players like it when you let them play. So therefore, if you're going to do that, then do it. If you're not, then don't.
Okay. And that's part of my point then. If you're going to let them play, let them play. Don't call that 3rd and goal. Don't call that penalty on 3rd and goal.
No, Travis, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let you do that.
How are you going to pick and choose?
Because this is the thing about it. And I know these crews when they do this. Been playing football and watching football, and I've ref football games. The bottom line is you tell a player, you say, hey, number 16, stop holding him. Or you say, hey, number 25, stop jamming him that high because you're hitting him in the face. If you jam him in the face again, I'm going to call it. So you let him get away with it a couple times. And then when he keeps doing it, you say, okay, there you go. I'm going to throw the flag on your ass. Because I told you, I done warned you 8 times. And so I don't have any problem with that, because the referee, we can say to me, coach, tell your player to stop doing X, Y, Z. And I say, hey, That referee right there just told me to tell you stop lining up like that, or stop head slapping him when you come off the ball. And he lets it go a couple times. If you keep doing it, I love when referees do that because you at least give me a chance. You at least give me a chance as a coach to tell my guy, hey, I tell him all the time, I said, and I make him say, I said, ref, tell him what he's doing wrong. And the ref will say, hey, son, you got to do this, do that, or whatever. Next time you do this, I say, okay, you see, it ain't just me. That is the referee himself telling you, don't do that again. Those are you can't have better referees out there. And then guess what? When you do it again and he calls it, I'm over there as a coach, get your damn butt off the field. Because the bottom line is that man sat there and told you not to do that again, and you just went out there and did it again. I mean, how can you fault a referee for that?
Again, you haven't called it all game until 1 minute and 50 seconds left. That's my only thing. And there was a false start on that play. So, so
they missed the false start too?
Yeah, all four offensive linemen had a false start. Well, they all moved before the center to snap the ball, but
okay. Well, I'm saying, I mean, so who missed that?
The referee.
I mean, they got 12 referees on the field. I mean, that's my whole point. You got 12 referees on the field. They missed a blatant face mask that the whole world has seen now 1,000 times on TV. They'll show that forever in Super Bowl history. And then you say that all of them same referees missed a false start. I mean, I don't see a false start, but like I said, they missed a false start. What are you going to do? It's no different than them missing that damn face mask. That's my whole point about being. If the bottom line is that there's bad refereeing on both sides. I've seen some games where it's been like, okay, how come one team got 22 penalties, other team ain't got one? I mean, come on now, it's lopsided as hell. You're not gonna tell me that they're perfect over there like that. And I see that. I can understand that. But when you got, like I said, faults going on both sides, dude, that's a wash for me. That's a wash for me. Play ball. Let's go. Let's go. What else you got?
We had 4 penalties. The Rams had 2 penalties all game. 2 penalties.
And you had 4?
We had 4.
Okay, and you think that's a glaring difference? That's a major difference in the game.
I didn't say that. I'm just stating the fact. I'm just letting it be known they had 2 penalties. We had 4. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's a clean game. You only had 4 penalties. They had 2. I mean, that's a clean game. What did they say? High school wrestling, but good shot at my homie. Okay, yeah, we will, Tom. We will. Yeah. He did win state. I saw that too. I hear you, Miss Peavy. I'm with you, Miss Peavy. I ain't got a problem with any of that. But that's what I'm trying to say. Refs were constantly bad. I got you. I agree. That's all you can ask for. I'm with you, man. And for him to say that there were only 6 penalties the whole game, even if it was 6-0, I'd be okay with that. 4-2? Are you kidding me? 4 penalties to 2? Lord have mercy. I had no idea that stat even existed. Because if I had, I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
And they called 3 on the last 3 plays.
I hear you. I'm gonna say this. Well, I mean, think about it now. The last 3 plays of a Super Bowl, I can see them calling them in. Because you know why? Because everybody panicking and trying to get something, trying to make stuff happen. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't have a problem with that either. Let's see here. I'm going to say who's most responsible. Aaron Donald, obviously. Yeah. I definitely think Aaron Donald was the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't like the coaching in the second half for the Bengals because I was thinking, like you said, they were going to come out and set the world on fire, which they didn't. And another one I have a problem with, I thought that Joe Burrow, and I'm sure if Joe Burrow could be addressed right now or whatever, you said he came out and said he should have played better.
He did.
And I thought he was going to play a lot better than he did. Yep. In the first quarter, he missed a running back running wide open. It could have been a damn touchdown if he just would have gotten the ball. He overthrew him by about 7 yards.
Yep.
Another time, the ball he threw to Jamar Chase, I'm going to go back and do some research on Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is amazing. Joe Burrow just throws the ball in the vicinity That joker caught that one ball, the first one, with basically one hand. Another time he's running a little swing route, and Joe Burrow threw him the ball, and he reached behind him and caught it, broke stride, everything, caught it behind him with one hand. I mean, Jamar Chase is doggone amazing. So I wish I had a receiver like that. That all I got to do is just throw the ball and get it close to him, and he going to find a way to get the damn ball. Because like I said, there were a couple times. I know Joe Burrow short hopped the ball to somebody one time on like a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7, something like that on the right side. I think it was T. Higgins. He was trying to throw the ball to. But I'm just sitting there watching those things. Another thing, we talked about this. You talking about their receivers being so good in this, that, and other. That second to the last drive, I think it was, drop ball by 83.
Tyler Boyd, first dropped pass he's had
his career.
All season, not the all season.
Okay, well, all season.
He's had
That's
one
what I'm
drop
talking
pass,
about.
that was it.
Again, nerves. That's what I'm talking about. When it's nut cutting time, and I talked about that. I said, listen, I like them, but they're still young. And I mean, when you're in that big of a game and that kind of thing, those things happen. I'm not talking bad about them. It's just that they're young. They're young. That's all it is to it. So at the end of the day, I felt like there was a lot of things there that could have happened. Let's see here. You already said real MVP of the Super Bowl. I don't know how you don't give that to Aaron Donald. I just don't. I mean, I know it looks good and it's got good optics that, you know, Cooper Kupp was the Triple Crown winner and had more touchdowns and more yards and more receptions and all that. And so, hey, let's go ahead and make him the Super Bowl champ. I mean, I think he was embarrassed to win that. I think that he didn't even seem like it felt good to him, you know. And so I kind of felt bad for him because to me, that's Aaron Donald all the way. Aaron Donald, even when he was being double and triple teamed, he is still making points. You're still getting points. You're still getting production points because they're double teaming you every single time. And if they're double teaming you, somebody else's ass ought to be getting to the quarterback because they're on one-on-one.
Which they weren't.
I know, but that's my point. Von Miller. I thought Von Miller was a disappointment. I thought Von Miller was going to get back there a whole lot more.
Yep.
So Von Miller kind of let me down too.
Can I say two things real quick?
Go ahead.
One, the last 5 possessions the Bengals had, 4 punts and a turnover on downs. You're not going to win a Super Bowl when you do that in a close game, right? 2, in terms of our offensive line, I thought the first 3 quarters, they played pretty good. They weren't great, but they did good enough. Like, they held their own the first 3 quarters of the game. Then the 4th quarter, Aaron Donald just took over. But I thought for the first 3 quarters of the game, the Bengals offensive line, you know, gave Burrow time at least to do what he needed to do. They got 1 or 2 sacks in the first 3 quarters, but for how big of a discrepancy everyone said that the offense and the defensive line were going to have for the Rams and the Bengals, I thought for the first 3 quarters that the Bengals offensive line played good enough. So I was pleased with that, at least for the first 3 quarters. The 4th quarter, they were terrible. But at least for the first 3 quarters, and I think that's the reason why they were in the game and were winning after the 3rd quarter, was because the offensive line did good enough to give Burrow enough time.
I won't give him 3 quarters. I might give him 2.5, but I thought it began in the 3rd quarter is when they started giving up sacks. And I started seeing a change, and they went to what we call a 50 defense, a 5-man front, and made that center have to actually block somebody, which means Aaron Donald was one-on-one with somebody. And so that kind of threw them off, and then they started lining up in a 50, which, again, the center has to block somebody because he's actually got somebody over the top of him. So now he can't chip and go out and double team and find Aaron Donald and make sure he was getting there. So I felt like I said, maybe it was I'll give him 2 quarters, maybe 2.5 quarters. I didn't like the way they did that. But
I just looked it up. They did start giving up some sacks about halfway through the 3rd quarter. So
yeah,
that's fair enough. But at least for the first half, they were better than I think most people thought they were going to be, right? So I can't blame the offensive line really because we knew that was going to be the biggest advantage that the Rams had.
Miss Peavy, you're right. It was an amazing catch. Here's the thing about these amazing catches. It's so funny because, everybody talks about the Super Bowl that Eli won. Oh, what an amazing throw he made. David Tyree caught a ball and pinned it to the side of his head and went down and maintained possession, grabbed the other with the other hand and did like that and caught a football. And everybody wants to talk about Eli making an amazing throw. I mean, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I mean, that's what I'm saying about these quarterbacks. And I think they get way too much credit sometimes because, just like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has thrown 7 Hail Marys that DeAndre Hopkins has fought through tooth and nail to get up there and somehow make the catch. And not only make the catch, bring it down and secure it and everything for a touchdown or a big play or whatever. And they want to talk about Kyler Murray with the throw. I mean, that just moronic to me. He shouldn't even get credit for those yards. I mean, the bottom line is that there are some receivers out there who make amazing catches. That one Odell Beckham did. All you got to do is Google OBJ 1, and then it'll say one hand catch, and it'll show it to you over and over again. I was showing that to somebody the other day during the Super Bowl. Because, I mean, it's like I said, it's like the catches. Half the time people can't remember who threw that ball. But that catch will go down in history as a great catch. The David Tyree is going to be a great catch. You don't remember the Eli Manning threw it to him. But it's like I said, at the end of the day, that's what you got in Jamar Chase. Right. I mean, he is a ball hawk. And so that young man is going to be, hopefully, if he keeps his head on straight and he stays humble and works hard and all that, because, a lot of these cats here today, gone tomorrow. He messed around and go to a strip club tonight with the wrong buddy and his career be over. So, like I said, you got to really, really make sure you are being wise and taking the right steps. So, where do you put Donald all time for defensive lineman? Ray, that's a good question. He's been going for 8 years now. And, he's talking about retiring and all that. He's got to be in the top 5. It's hard for me. When I think about the Mean Joe Greens and I think about the Reggie Whites and those kind of guys.
Lawrence Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, but Lawrence Taylor, he was really a linebacker. I mean, Lawrence Taylor's considered a linebacker. True. So I wouldn't, but just as far as defensive linemen, I'm talking about just D linemen only. And, you think about some of the, even Refrigerator Perry, I know they turned him into kind of the whole running the ball thing and all that, but he was still a big time run stopper. Even some of the guys that and I hate to say it, like the Falcons have one of the best defensive linemen in the game right now with Grady Jarrett. I mean, Grady Jarrett is really a good defensive lineman. I mean, when I just look around the league and I think about those kind of guys and all the guys who've been out there, I don't like throwing a bunch of these guys who've just been in here for Cameron Hayward. I mean, Cameron Hayward is still playing and starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got to be in his 13th, 14th, 15th year. Yeah. And I mean, so Ray Donald only being in there 8, I can't put him up as being the best, and I won't put him up as being the best. I know there are some people saying he's the best ever, but I refuse to put him up there because I think that's very, very, very disrespectful to so many other guys who've come before him, who are in the Hall of Fame, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame too, I'm sure, one day. But I can't put him up there now. So I'm going to put him in the top 5, though, which I think putting him in the top 5 is huge with him only being in the league for 8 years. So I felt like another person, though, who should be talked about is Eli Apple. I mean, he was horrible. And again, he's a nice kid. I've met him several times. He's been to Bradley Roby's camp a couple of times, but he was terrible. But so was the other guy, number 5 for Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey was terrible.
Awful. He was awful.
Awful.
And I'm not trying to hear. I don't want anybody trying to tell me about Jalen Ramsey being the best corner. Jalen Ramsey needs to go eat him some humble pie and keep his mouth closed and just play football, because he was horrible out there the other day. I don't know what possessed him break on that hitch and act like he was going to pick that hitch off. And then the quarterback made a good throw, threw the ball outside, and he looked like a fool running down that sideline trying to catch Jamar Chase. And he better be glad he had somebody over the top, or that would have been a touchdown.
That would have been the game-winning touchdown because there would have been 1 minute and 10 seconds left by the time the game, because he would have been 75 yards exactly.
Yeah. He was bad, Miss Peavy. He was bad the other day. I mean, it was just so. Again, like I said, when I watch that game, I'm really watching a lot of technical stuff and whatnot. But yeah, Ray, that's a good question about Donald and where I put him. Real quick, we got some little trinkets we're gonna talk about. What do y'all think about the halftime show? I mean, somebody give me their take on the halftime. So, guys, I love me some hip hop. I mean, I'm a hip hop man. I love it. Never been, to truth be told, that big of a Mary J. Blige fan. I feel like she had a couple songs that I really like that I don't like any of her slow stuff. I'm kind of upbeat. I kind of like some of her good stuff like that, but not a big Mary J. fan. Now, love Dr. Dre, love Snoop. Love Eminem. Kendrick Lamar, I'm not that much of a Kendrick Lamar fan. I mean,
yeah, I could have gone without him. He's the one I could have been like, I don't need him.
Yeah, even 50. And I like 50. My daughter's in one of his productions, Black Mafia Family. They did the previews for it out at the theater. We went. I saw 50. They had a concert afterwards that nobody knew about. I saw 50 sing every song he's ever sang. Every song he's ever sang before, live on stage. I like 50. I thought he was just the other night. Okay. But I thought it was a nice surprise because nobody announced that he was coming.
I agree.
But when I hear people talking about that was the best halftime show ever, I'm not buying that. I mean, listen, I've seen some halftime shows. I mean, I'm 55 years old, about to be 56. I've been watching Super Bowls for a long time. And of the probably 52 that I can remember, I probably can't remember, till you're about 4 years old and I was playing football and really watching and whatnot. I mean, I've seen a lot of Super Bowls, and I don't know that was the best I've ever seen. Now, a lot of people talking about Michael Jackson. A lot of people talking about Prince. This, that, the other. They're Mr. P with your old ass. You talking about, there you go, Michael and Prince. There you go. But I'm just saying, I'm not there. Yeah, Falcon fan in the house, Mr. P. We see you here. I'm not. Max said rating it in the top 5. I'll put it in my top 10, Matt. I don't know about top.
I think that's low, Coach. This was really good. This was really good. Other than the fact that they didn't have 50 Cent there, they had $1.50 there. Because he looked like he's gained 120 pounds since the last time he was singing.
Well, Dr. Dre fat too. I mean, everybody but Snoop was fat. Eminem and Snoop, they looked like they stayed in shape pretty good. But the rest of the cats was fat. Mary J was fat. She she had to take that thing out about 6 times so she could wear it, and then falling all on the ground stuff. I thought she was there to sub for Aaron Donald in case he got hurt.
I agree, Ray. I agree. I thought she looked good. But I enjoyed the halftime show. I really enjoyed it. So I like the fact that
Ms. Peavy said it was top 3.
It might have been. I thought it was great. She thinks that number 1 was when they had Bing Crosby sing halftime, and number 2 is when they had Led Zeppelin. So that's number 3, Miss Peavy. That's what you trying to say. I did like that they kept with the LA theme, and they had some hip hop. They didn't put, no offense to Prince and Michael Jackson, and they didn't have some old people on there. It was a nice change than having someone that was extremely past their prime not singing. So
here's the deal.
I like that.
Here's the deal, and I didn't even know this until I got on Twitter earlier. And I don't normally get on Twitter. I know that a lot of people are big time Twitter people and all that. Everybody making a big deal because Eminem took a knee. I didn't even realize he took a knee.
I didn't either. I didn't realize it.
And the internet is just going crazy about, Eminem was so disrespectful and he took a knee and this and that. First of all, I'm thinking that that was a big moment. And if you see him, Dr. Dre is on the piano, and Eminem is just behind him with his hand like on his head, on the knee, and everybody saying, "Oh, he was mocking Colin Kaepernick, or he was trying to show that he was with Colin Kaepernick and this and that and all this other bullshit." If it were me and I had just got through performing at the Super Bowl, dude, I'm probably taking a knee too, just being like, I can't believe I just did that. You know what I mean? I would be so emotional, I'm sure, and thinking about it and all that, and you know, the gravity of it all hits you. And I could see him doing that. But for whatever reason he decided to take a knee, y'all let that man take a knee. I mean, leave that man alone and stop looking for shit. I mean, that's just terrible.
I didn't realize it while it was going on. I didn't realize it until they kind of showed a replay. They were kind of doing some highlights of the halftime show, and then I saw it. But the first thing I thought of was he was actually paying reverence to Dr. Dre, which he and Dr. Dre have a really, really, really good relationship. And Eminem, has always credited Dr. J with helping him getting his music career started. So I just figured he was kind of acknowledging Dr. Dre as kind of like the godfather of California hip hop. That's
Dr. Dre is the one who founded Eminem.
Exactly.
I mean, Eminem founded 50 Cent. I mean, that's like family there. I mean, so when all of them get together like that, I mean, dude, leave them alone. That bothers me that somebody tries to make something negative out of something that to me was really positive. Because you know what? I was just thinking this could really go bad here. I hope that, because I'm praying that it's going to be a good show. And like somebody said, it was a good show.
Very good show.
Nothing that, I wanted more from Eminem. I mean, I'm an Eminem guy. There is not a bad song, in my opinion, that Eminem has ever done. I love everything Eminem.
I agree.
But I wanted something better than what he came with the other night. I was looking for something else.
Kendrick Lamar out and given however much time Kendrick Lamar had and just giving it to Eminem, and it would have been even better because I didn't need to hear Kendrick Lamar. I thought Eminem was great, and I wanted to hear more Eminem. Or you could have split up Kendrick Lamar's time and given it to everyone else. But I wanted to hear more Eminem.
Here's my thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan. I like the little presentation he did. I mean, I like that the way they moved that camera angle. You can see those guys moving, and I did appreciate that now. But again, I'm just not a Kendrick Lamar fan, and I've heard that "We Can Be All Right" song and all that other. It's not for me, but I know it's for a lot of people, and he got a lot of fans. But not really my taste and whatnot. Real quick, somebody tell me the best commercial they saw the other night. First of all, let me say this. Super Bowl commercials are not as good as they used to be.
Agreed.
I don't know what happened. I mean, they used to do what is it, Manhattan? Or they say always people on Manhattan are making these commercials. Guys, where is the creativity in the commercials? I was texting Jason when they had that little thing bouncing around on the TV screen, trying to get people to scan it and whatnot. I called Jason. I said, you better not scan that thing. I said, if you do, it's going to give you a shot. And he fell out laughing. But the hot Cheetos and Doritos, that Coinbase, Ray, that was crazy to me. I wouldn't do that. I don't ever scan that kind of stuff. I'm just old, I guess. Now, wait a minute. Matt, I'm with you on that now. I loved the fact that they had that damn Sopranos music, and I was waiting. I was thinking they would say the damn Sopranos were coming back, and especially when I saw the girl, it looked like his daughter, Tony Soprano's daughter, and then she met up with the son. I was like, y'all better not tell me the Sopranos. That used to be my favorite TV show, and I did appreciate hearing that. Woke up this morning, blue moon in your eyes, or whatever. I love that song. So yes, I agree that was a pretty neat commercial. Best commercial was the fake police show up and ask the babies to come back to work. Yes, I did see that one. Don't get me wrong. I thought there were a couple cute commercials. I didn't see the commercial. For instance, years ago, one of the best Super Bowl commercials I ever seen, starred Shaquille O'Neal. And it was when Wilt Chamberlain and all of those great centers and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all them were welcoming the next big man to the league. And, they said password. And Shaq said, don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk. And that was the big thing. I mean, that was the Super Bowl commercial that everybody was talking about the next day. And, then they pull him into this portal and whatnot. And then they start whispering in his ear and it shows him dunking and breaking goals and all that other stuff because they were training him to be the next great center of all time. They don't have those kind of things anymore. So, and I'm like you, Tom, the Clydesdales, they had one weak-ass commercial about the Clydesdales. And the Clydesdales have always been a fixture of Super Bowl Sunday. Yep. And they had that weak-ass one at the damn end of the game, and there was only one horse. They just had one horse.
Yep.
And, dude, I was so disappointed. I agree, Tom. I always loved the Clydesdales. And I don't know what Anheuser-Busch is doing. I really don't. They normally have them on there maybe 2 or 3 times. They had that one weak-ass commercial where he came out there walking. I mean, it was weak.
I don't remember a lot of the commercials, to be honest with you. I didn't sit down and watch a lot of them. I was up and around, trying to get food and whatever. But Bud Light usually has some really good commercials. I don't remember one Bud Light commercial this year, but they generally have one of the best, commercials every year. I don't even remember what the Bud Light commercial was this year.
I think the Bud Light, if I'm not mistaken, they were doing that thing again about there's a full ball loose in the house and everybody's running around trying to catch that football. Dude, that's old now. Y'all need to come up with something else. They stop doing that, and they show all these old guys like Troy Polamalu, and he's jumping and he jumps on somebody and the ball squirts out somewhere else, and all kind of hell breaks loose when they're trying to get the ball. Guys, come up with something else. I mean, that's enough of that. LeBron commercial, anything with LeBron in it, I'm not crazy about. I'm just not crazy about LeBron, but LeBron was talking to his younger self, Matt said, and so that was it for that. Guys, we are going to start to transition after today. We're still going to talk about some football stuff as, there's a lot of more coaches being hired that don't need to be being hired and things like that, and we'll keep up with that. But we're going to start transitioning to basketball, NBA basketball. There's a big trade, as you guys have heard, I'm sure. James Harden got traded for Ben Simmons, and so that's going to be interesting. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's saying both of those teams have improved now and have a better fit. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Don't worry, guys. I'll talk about college.
The Lakers still suck. They're awful. And last I heard, LeBron is trying to search for a clause in his contract where he can get the hell up out of LA. So like I said, it'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll still talk about college basketball. I'm a big college basketball fan. I'm about to go watch Kentucky. Kentucky plays Tennessee here at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Tip-off is at 9 o'clock for those of you who got a wife who talks too much and you trying to go and and get you some quiet time. Go in there and watch the game on them. Actually,
that game is going on at 9. Game that's going on at 8. If you want to flip back and forth on FS1 is Villanova and Providence. Top 15 game going on right now. So,
yeah, and I think Duke is playing too. Duke is playing Wake Forest, I believe, right now.
They're winning. There's about 2 minutes left. They look like they're going to win, but Michigan State just lost. Top 20 team. Michigan State lost today. So
Miss Peavy, I'm sorry, Miss Peavy. Miss Peavy, I take that back. Miss Peavy said I can't be talking about why I was talking too much. I mean, I'm from that Chris Rock thing, Miss Peavy. He said a man only wants 3 things. I'm gonna let you Google that so you can see what them 3 things are, Miss Peavy.
Come on, Miss Peavy. We know he's not sorry.
I know the first one is feed him. I remember that one. Some of you other guys, Mr. Peavy, there you go, Mr. Peavy. Mr. Peavy know what I'm talking about. I hear you, Miss Peavy. Miss Peavy said she want us to shut up too. Well, y'all go in there and watch the game together, then both of y'all be quiet. Anyway, folks, listen. All in all, I thought it was a great Super Bowl, and I'm going to end by saying this. I felt bad for both teams that game ended the way that it did. That game deserved a whole bigger ending, in my opinion, than what it got. To end by them taking a knee like that, I thought it should have gone to overtime. I thought that, at best, or give me a field goal kick that gets blocked or something. Give me something more dramatic for an ending than 4 downs and you're out and then the other team goes in and takes a knee and the game is over.
Yeah.
I thought the game was way too good to deserve that kind of an ending. And I just felt like it deserved a much better ending, in my opinion. So, and I will end it by saying that again. I'm glad that the Rams won. Yes, Ms. Peavy, I'm glad you agree because, golly, I just thought it was going to be better than that at the end. And when that happened, I mean, I literally jumped out of my seat like, oh my God, because I was stunned. I just could not believe that was going to happen. Or even show me him trying to throw a pass at the end and, it goes off the guy's fingertip, something. Give me something. But for it to end with him being slung down like that and just trying to throw the ball, oh, my God, I felt bad. I felt bad for Cleveland, Cincinnati, because that's really a bad way for them to lose. I mean, when you have to remember that and think about that, ooh, that's bad for me. That's just bad for me right there. So I don't know. But anyway, again, it was a good Super Bowl.
I agree.
Very close Super Bowl. If Odell hadn't been hurt, maybe not so close. Who knows? That we'll all have to wonder about that. Think about Dion mentioning that they need to allow 3 more expansion teams with only black owners. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that, Mr. Peavy. But, we can talk about that next week. I would like to see something done about that. Dion's doing a lot of talking these days. I'm glad, don't get me wrong. And I'm glad to hear a voice and some people coming out with some ideas and things like that. Dion's bold, too. Dion's not going to back down from anybody. It would have been something if when we got spun around and threw the ball and it would have gotten caught. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Ms. Peavy. Something different from what we saw. Yeah. And it was just he missed the ball and game over. Oh, my God, that just felt bad. And, I mean, I just was stunned when it happened because I was really preparing for overtime, to be honest with you. I said, they're going to go down, and then it's going to be whoever flips the coin and wins, and then we're going to have that age-old talk about is that the right way to do it and all that other stuff. That's what I look for. Chase wide open, beat Ramsey badly. So that's what Ray Miller said.
Ray, you're talking about the 4th down play. He was actually, Coach. I don't know if you saw this. They showed an all 22 version on the last play on the 4th down call. That was basically the last play of the game. Ramsey fell down and Chase burned him and was wide open, but Burrow just didn't have enough time because Aaron Donald was coming to sling it to him, or we would have scored a touchdown.
Well, what was the running back doing, Trav? What was the running back doing? Because I saw the running back stayed in. He didn't go out. Why didn't he block Aaron Donald?
I don't know.
I mean, that was my thing about that play. I specifically watched the replay to see what the running back was doing. Yep. It's not like he ran a check down. He just standing there watching Aaron Donald go sack the quarterback. I mean, that was, oh my God, that was bad.
Yeah.
So,
as a Bengal fan, I'm upset. I'm hurt that we lost. Right, I'm still a little pissed off, but we played well for the most part. I think we showed that there's a reason we were in the Super Bowl. Joe looks like a really good quarterback. We're young. I don't want to say we're going to be there again because nobody knows that. So I'm not going to say that. But at least I was glad that it wasn't a blowout, and it was close and an entertaining game all game. So
that's what I told Jason. When Jason called me after the game, one of my thoughts, I said everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out. You know why? Because Cincinnati fans are happy. They happy with just getting there. They don't need to win. As long as they get, they good. And then LA, they wanted to win and they won. So now everybody's happy. Ask anybody from Cincinnati if they feel bad today. Hell, They go damn have a parade. They still gonna do everything that they were talking about doing if they had won. I guarantee the city, those they making a statue of all them players and everything. The team, they gonna have a big statue made for Cincinnati because that's good. I mean, they good. They got everything they want. That's all they need. So y'all leave them alone and let them go and do their stuff. So the Rams are Super Bowl champions. Aaron Donald, I hope he doesn't retire. Sean McVay talking about he might retire too, which is ridiculous. I don't know where that's coming from. I think he just afraid that team about to disintegrate. And so, because they ain't got enough money to keep all them jokers.
Yeah.
And so he want to go broadcast for a couple of years and then come back and coach again when he's 40. I mean, the dude's only like 38 right now, or 36 or something like that.
35.
So that's what I'm saying. They said 36, but I'm just saying that, I mean,
whatever.
Yeah, he'll be anyway. But anyway, folks, we got to get out of here. Thank all of you. This has been great. Thank you, Ray Miller, Mr. and Miss Peavy, for all the feedback and everything. Mr. Butler, Tom, of course, Matt. Appreciate all y'all. This has been a great show, and like I said, I appreciate it because when y'all are in here and hot like this, and y'all keep me going and asking great questions and tell me about stuff that I don't know. Which is very minimal. Y'all can't really tell me anything I don't know. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate y'all, and we hope to see you all here next week. Bring a friend with you, and we'll talk to y'all later. Good night, Miss Francis.
Straight from the hip.
All right, chaps, I'm going to holler at you. I got to go make some